Hello, YouTube? It's Aaron Joshua and it's
Ito making a special appearance.
today we're gonna be reacting to when racist cops realize they've been arrested. What you think about this? What's gonna happen in the video?
They're gonna be racist.
They're gonna be racist.
Per usual.
Per usual. Okay. Hey man, she ain't telling no lies with some of them. It's not all of them, but it is some of them. But yeah, man, I need y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and write down in the comments what videos we should react to next. But other than that, let's get into the reaction.
Evil and racist cops have always been around, going around abusing their power on minority groups.
He saw this and he wanted to make a problem.
But what happens when these racist cops get caught in the act?
I'm on the same side as you. No, you aren't.
Here are 3 examples of when racist cops are caught, starting with the shocking case of Kyle Erickson, who tried to frame a black suspect.
A little bit of weed.
On the 13th of March 2018, Officer Kyle Erickson and his partner pulled over Jason Serrano and his friend for an apparent broken taillight. However, this stop ended up getting seriously out of hand when a cop tried to plant evidence.
The car smells like marijuana, so we're gonna check it, alright? Okay, then that's it. Then I gotta make sure everything's good with your end. Just get the taillight fixed. There's nothing in the car, you'll be good to go.
Didn't say they in New York.
Immediately, the cops claim they can smell marijuana in the car and say that they're gonna have to search it. Usually, a civilian has the right to refuse a search, but if the cops have probable cause to believe a suspect has committed a crime, they can bypass that right and search their property without consent.
I feel like sometimes vehicles might do smell like marijuana, but I feel like that's one of the easiest things to be able to search a car. Cause guess what? In court.
But I think just recently they got rid of that. I don't know where, but like they can't. If it's just like a traffic stop, it can't go further than just being a traffic stop.
Mm-hmm. But so what would they think? They suspect somebody of
by probable cause? I think they got rid of that in some places. Like, oh, I smelled.
Yeah, you can't fight that. Yeah, that's who knows what they smell.
That's what I'm saying. Hearsay.
Facts.
Smelling weed on the property technically counts as probable cause, and because it's impossible to dispute while looking at body cam footage, it's often used as a way for corrupt cops to easily begin a search without the suspect's permission or a warrant.
We need to check the car, so I need you to hop out.
Alright, I'm getting out.
Okay. Hang on.
I don't have nothing in my jacket.
You can tell he was like, you know what I'm saying, already ready to search. So
he looks
sleepy.
sleepy.
About to escalate for no reason.
No,
he was asleep.
I didn't do nothing.
It was in the car.
No, this is on me. It's my possessions.
Oh, they yeah. I heard New York cops bad in New York too.
Put that jacket down right now.
Put the jacket down.
For the rest of the body cam footage, Jason is left on the ground handcuffed and visibly in pain from the takedown.
Okay, can we pause it?
20
My whole thing is, do they sit and conspire like, all right, bro, we finna arrest these people, we gonna beat them up, we gonna do this, we gonna like that's horrible.
It's like I think it's like one of them authority thing. They like being,
power.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like power. They like being over certain people.
And then the other ones, I feel like a lot of people, they just go with it. They follow us. That's even worse though, being a follower.
Facts.
You know something wrong, but you just go with it.
A lot of people do it. They don't know how to fight it though.
I think I muted it.
Obvious that an unnecessary amount of force was used to take him down. So for the cops, this is just where the story begins, and you can see the exact moment reality sets in for them.
Alright, I'm searching the rest of the car. Actually, I'll let you check. Here, there's my flashlight. I'll stay with him.
His buddy probably was
The
in on it
officers are
too.
fully aware that they've hurt Jason, and if their car turns up empty, all they've done is searched a car without a warrant and used excessive force to unlawfully detain a civilian. However, if they do find something illegal, then all of that should magically go away, as Jason and the driver go from civilians to criminals, and they're just helping bring them to justice. At this point, it's not necessarily just about race. They're trying to save themselves after making a violent mistake. Obviously, this is horribly corrupt, but nevertheless, the stakes are high for the cops. Their jobs are on the line.
He's
and they
cheap.
have to
Smirking.
find something.
She has a proper documentation for the plates. Temporary registration is valid. Just ran her permit only. He doesn't have a driver's license. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And you see my partner found.
But don't they used to do that at the beginning?
What?
He just not checking her license plates, all the other stuff. But after that, they done pulled him out the car.
See nothing.
But they dirty in New York like that. Seem like.
After searching the entire vehicle for about 5 minutes, the cops turn up nothing, and they both start to seem more and more agitated. But here's where things start to take a dark and shady turn. When the officers fail to turn up anything, they decide to get a little creative.
That's tough.
See nothing. You know what I mean?
So they done did this before.
Right.
But they talking in, oh,
It's a little bit of weed.
He gonna put
Without
in his
even
body
trying
cream.
to hide it from his camera, the detective
No.
places a small bud of marijuana in the cup holder of the vehicle, where he's already checked multiple times.
So
The
you
way
just
the
walk
officer
around with
does
weed
this
on you?
without even trying
Facts.
to
He
hide
probably
it,
smoked
implies
too.
that
Yeah,
he's almost
immediately.
certain that this will never come back to haunt them. And even suggests that this might not be his first time doing it either.
Right.
In fact, the way the cops have been talking to each other the entire time indicates that this might just be a regular step in their process.
yeah.
You good? Yeah, good?
All of a sudden, the cops have a
Dirty
case
cop.
against Jason. During the stop, they smelled marijuana in the car. Jason became combative after they asked to search it, so they took him down and searched the car, where they found not only a small piece in the cup holder, but even flakes in his jacket. This is the story that Jason was taken to trial over, and he was charged with marijuana possession, resisting arrest, and obstructing governmental administration. It took over 2 years for this body cam footage to emerge, and only then would Jason's charges be dropped.
Thank God for body
Predictably,
cam.
no charges were brought against the officers, but it
No
did raise
charges?
an
But 2
important
years?
question. What else has been
But
caught on these
they didn't get
cameras
no
that's being
charges
hidden?
though.
But it did raise an important question. Predictably, no charges were brought against the officers. But it did raise an important question. What else has been caught on these cameras that's being hidden from us? This is why some people feel it's important to record their interactions with police themselves,
Yeah.
just like this black police graduate did when he was confronted by these two officers blatantly racially profiling him.
We see some
But no, we gotta pause it though.
I
You
just
pause
got
it when you want to.
That man went to jail for 2 years for nothing.
Yeah.
And then they said he only just got the charge dropped. He's supposed to get money. Did he not sue?
He probably ain't know to take them steps to get no money
That's
from the
why
state.
these people, you gotta know your rights.
Fast. You guys should know your rights.
Cause that's a lawsuit.
Fast. And just the fact that the police officer got off too without
That's
any
what I'm saying.
charges. That's worse. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just had to do 2 years and the police off his record. Clean.
He probably still working.
Fast.
He still got his job.
That's ridiculous.
He gonna get his day.
You reap what you sow.
What's your probable cause? To ask me for ID.
It does not have a handicap placard.
Read the plate, man. You don't even know what you're talking about. DV. That's disabled veteran plate. We can park in handicapped spots.
Let me see some ID,
Six.
please.
No.
The man recording is a graduate of the nearby police academy and was wearing full gear and uniform, including his duty belt with a loaded weapon. Because he's police academy certified, he's completely within his right to wear the gear, but the officers aren't buying it. So the graduate tells them to run his name through TCOL, an agency that, amongst other things, keeps track of every police.
Imagine if manufacturing automation was simple. Introducing Vention. One platform to design, automate, order, and
police officer in Texas. If the graduate is cleared to wear his gear, TCOL will prove it.
Run it. Run it. Call T-Code. You have no justification or probable cause to run up on me. Yeah.
That's
Why?
the worst person to deal with right there. Somebody
Why?
that know their
You're
rights.
detaining me? No. Then my question is, are you detaining me? Okay, so then don't tell me where to go. He's not too smart because first of all, even you know, if I have disabled veteran plate, I can park it in a handicap spot.
they just
Even
changed-
you know
they
that.
just changed
No,
that.
no, no. They didn't just change that. It's been that way.
The problem the officers had was that the graduate was parking in a handicapped spot without displaying a parking permit. But his car has a disabled veteran plate, a license plate given to many Army veterans who've made a bodily sacrifice
So
during
they
their
don't know
active
that, though?
duty.
There's not a
Owning
known
the plate
fact by the
lets you
police?
park in handicapped
I
spots
think it
without
was
a
some
permit. This is fairly common knowledge.
misunderstanding in between that. They did change it, but I don't know if at this time when this happened, I don't know at this time when they filmed this what was the whole issue. But it was a true thing.
Across America, especially for cops. But it seems that these officers forgot about it here, and the graduate thinks he knows why.
He just saw this, and he saw this, and he wanted to make
This
a
man at
profit.
the gas station though.
That's
Bro,
your
go
reputation,
patrol the
Joshua.
streets,
That's what I'm
bro.
saying.
Yes, it is. How many black officers you got? One.
Yeah, we don't have one right now.
One, right, one. I know. And you barely let him in.
It's difficult to disagree with the graduate. They had absolutely no reason to stop the graduate and demand his ID. Maybe a new recruit could forget about the veteran plates, but this man is actually a police captain and has many years of police service under his belt. Evidently in a department with next to no black representation. Eventually the officers return
that's
to
why
tell
he
him
can't
he's free to
believe
go, but the graduate isn't leaving before saying one last thing.
You know, you're feeling small now, aren't you?
That's what it is. That's why they
You should
kept
have run up on
talking.
people. You didn't have no probable cause. If you wanted to follow me and run my plate, you could have done that.
Talk to anybody?
No, well, I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to talk to you. That's right. I already told you that. Waste my time and you. You're supposed to be a captain, and you don't know the disabled plates have a right to park in a parking spot. And you violating people's rights, running up on them without probable cause. I'm in a uniform doing the same thing for you for free. So what? I don't care what he thinks. I'm a graduate and I have T-code certification.
That's it, no.
I have T-code certification. Yes, I do. That's when you checked it. Says who? My certification doesn't say
It's
expired.
expired.
You want it to be expired
But you walking
because
off.
you see brown skin. So take a walk. Walk of shame, Captain. Don't ever you run up on me again. You understand? And learn the law, and you better have probable cause before you run up on somebody in uniform.
But he
You don't
hurt.
have no reasonable suspicion because
He
I'm
hurt
on the
him.
same side as you.
No, you aren't.
I'm a graduate of the police academy. Okay,
And him
just
get in the
like
car.
you years ago, you probably couldn't even pass
trying to
the
get some
test.
power
right
over.
now. You go. You get going.
Getting into fights with other uniformed police officers definitely isn't the best look for a police captain, especially after racially profiling that very same officer. And because the graduate was filming the entire thing himself, he was able to show the city manager, and that very same afternoon, it was revealed that the captain was no longer working for the police department. Unfortunately, though, it's extremely rare for cops to actually be reprimanded after behavior like this, as is obvious in the case of Montre Little. In this case, the cop not only lied and threatened Montre, but he even cost the city $75,000 and still got away with no punishments. On July 15, 2018, Montre and his friend were pulled over by the police. The stop started out normal, but quickly evolved into a perfect display of how cops will try to force you into a false confession through corruption and, in this case, racism.
What's going on, guys?
Not much. How you doing, officer?
Is this your car?
Well, it's a rental right now. My car's been shot.
Okay. Did something break down?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. You guys just came from over the park, right?
Yeah, we just hanging out.
That's it? Is this your car?
I just told
Bro, you
my
just
car
asked
been shot,
the same
officer.
question.
This is a rental.
Okay. How do you
You
start
trying to
it?
get him to lie.
What do you mean? I just put my foot on the brake and I put it in drive and I
Okay.
drive, officer.
At first, this may seem like a harmless question, but asking the driver, Montre Little, how to start the car essentially implies that the cop thinks he stole it. If Montre was unfamiliar with the vehicle, he would have likely struggled to remember how to start it. And if he fumbled around a little before remembering, it could imply he was under the influence. But Montre kept his composure and passes this first test totally fine. The cop,
You have
however,
to pass
still
both
isn't
of your
impressed
keys.
and decides to
Until you
take
get
things
into it.
further by
Oh, no.
tricking Montre into
Oh,
giving
thank
his
you,
property
Will.
over.
So it's your car, though? Did they give you a fob or
My
something?
car, officer.
Did they give you a key fob or something? Or
Yes, sir. Officer.
like, what does it do? Does it?
You see, this actually lets you know that it's in.
Okay. Do you have any weapons on you or in the car?
You gotta give him keys.
Okay, can I be honest with you? It smells like marijuana in the car, and I can see shake on the ground. Your buddy's giving me the idea that maybe he's got a gun.
What?
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think.
What?
I don't know,
It's
just
really
the
sitting
way-
there
I mean, just the way
existing.
you're holding yourself, man. Like, that's why we're nervous,
What
man.
if somebody
That's
look
it.
like they got
Not
a
only did the officer mislead Montre into
Because
giving
he
the keys
black.
over, but
It
he's
would make
also
look
suddenly
like he got
decided
a
he
gun.
can smell marijuana in the vehicle, and based purely on a hunch
Yeah,
that the
yeah.
passenger is hiding a weapon. Both of these things, especially the marijuana smell, are often used as a reason to search the vehicle, bypassing the need for consent by the property owner. The speed and order in which the officer works here is extremely suspicious. Confiscating the keys without even mentioning it implies that he already decided he was going to search the vehicle, and that he was trying to make Montre feel helpless or even threatened.
Yeah.
Emotions you can clearly see on his face as they're stolen from him.
Go ahead and step out, Montre. Yep, I just told you why. 3 times. You want me to recap again? I mean, I told you I'm a cop. Face the car when you step out. Face the car when you step out. Face the car when you step out. Don't flex. Don't flex. I don't know what you're doing, man, but you need to knock that off. Stop pulling on your arms. What's going on, dude? Where are you trying to? What are you doing, dude?
Officer, I'm not doing nothing to you.
Well, you're making me think something funny's going on, man.
They do that.
As
just so they
a
can.
police officer, why are you so scared? You need to be the last person on this earth that's scary.
Everything the cop has done and
He's
said
scared
so
of
far
black,
is
bro.
textbook in terms of corruption. This is obviously a serious event for Montre, but the cop is deliberately trying to be lighthearted and jovial about the whole thing, using words such as funny and silly to purposefully seem condescending. He also mentions that Montre's heart is beating fast and that he seems nervous. Another classic observation that appears time and time again in these cases. Think back to the stop of Marion Humphrey, whose truck was searched for the sole reason that he seemed nervous. Innocent civilians such as Montre will always feel anxious or even angry in this situation, and it's an easy observation for cops to make to detain them and obtain probable cause, which is exactly what the cop did. The search uncovered nothing illegal in Montre's car, but the cop kept him in the back of his patrol vehicle. This is where things start to get really shady.
I did everything you asked me to, officer. You thought there was a weapon. There's no weapon. We wasn't doing anything wrong, officer. I'm not sure why you pulled me over. At your rental, everything is fine. There was no breaking taillight or nothing, officer. I did nothing wrong with you.
Did I make anything up when I said the car smelled like marijuana?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Hold on.
Because there was nobody smoking in the car.
Is there marijuana shake on the floor of the car?
Officer, that was cigarette ash, okay? You didn't find no marijuana.
I'm not charging you with marijuana. But here's what. If you want me to,
Why is he sitting in the back seat, though?
That's what I'm saying. You wasting my time.
I believe so, officer.
Okay, so
You ain't fine now. I put to be let go.
That I have to write you tickets for. If you think that I'm lying, then we'll go to court and we'll talk about it then.
Okay.
Or do you want to just be real with me and I'll be real with you?
Good guy. Trying to get him.
Montre is being aggressively backed into a corner. The cop obviously knows that he's done something wrong. He's only trying to get Montre to forget about it and move past it without further.
My name is Southern Comfort, but you can call me SoCo. Southern Comfort, so tasteful.
Incident. When he doesn't, the cop threatens him by saying he'll write up the ticket and he'll have to take it to court, where it'll essentially be Montre versus the world. It's also important to remember that cops are allowed to lie and use deceptive tactics to extract a confession. If Montre had told him that he didn't make up the smell, then in a weird, twisted way, he essentially just admitted to possessing illegal drugs. Luckily, Montre maintained his story and was reluctantly let go by the cops. Just days later, Montre sued the city and after a year of fighting, reached a settlement of $75,000 based on an unlawful traffic stop and warrantless search. The cop was...
You know a situation happened like this with me and Caleb and Jetta, didn't it? Yeah. So we were coming back late from the movies, from visiting a friend, and the police followed us from Walmart all the way down the road, and we had one of those black ice incense, and he thought with that we were trying to cover the smell of marijuana. So I was like, I don't have nothing to hide, so I just let him search it. He checked us, and guess what he found? Nothing. So he was trying to get us to admit to having some, try to walk us, you know what I'm saying, like separate all three of us and do all that. But I wasn't worried because we ain't had nothing. We wasn't on really nothing like that, and we already know how to deal with police, bro.
But then was y'all minors?
I was 18, so you know Jediah was probably like 15. So yeah, we was all young. I had to really calm them down because they ain't really.
But you can't even question the minor though.
You remember that Dad had to go down to the we had lived in Mobile, and then Daddy.
I kind of do, but I don't.
He drove around to the precinct and he was trying to book on them folks.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's like vague.
When I first had that Cadillac, yeah, Daddy was upset about that. Mm-hmm. He sure was.
And what they had to say?
Oh, we was trying to. No, they not gonna admit to nothing. They not gonna say nothing. They not gonna say they was wrong.
Yeah, but I think police, they can't search a minor or question a minor without a legal guardian. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know though.
A lot of these rules, they break anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Was removed from patrol duty, but not fired, despite leading one of the most callous displays of corruption ever caught on camera. But the police are extremely good at one-upping themselves when it comes to corruption. Take, for example, the time when 2 Californian cops essentially kidnapped a man eating lunch in his own car.
What's going on? You live around here?
What does it matter?
Hey, don't touch, bro. Relax. Hey, you match the description of somebody, okay, that just committed a burglary in the area. Okay, you're on camera.
Why would I be sitting in the park eating?
Is your body cam on? It's on. Yes, it's on. Step on out, dude. We'll explain everything to you, okay? Just step out of the car. Step out of the car. I'm not stepping out of the car. You're being detained for a burglary investigation, okay, sir? So no. Do you live in the area? I'm not answering questions. Don't want my lawyer. Okay, step out of the car. You're being detained right now. Right.
They got his doors all over.
Firstly, the suspect's name, Jamal Williams, does everything right. He tells the cops he's not answering any questions until he has a lawyer. Unfortunately for him, though, the cops aren't having any of it because he matches the description of a suspect that technically gives them the right to detain him while they investigate further. What's interesting is that the only description the cops had was that it was a black male wearing all black in his early 20s. Possibly a red t-shirt underneath. Jeez. Jamal is 40 years old, wearing a red hoodie and gray sweatpants. It's also incredibly hard to punish cops for detaining someone that doesn't match that description, as they could just say they thought he did. In general, the system is very lackluster, but it shouldn't necessarily harm or bother Jamal. Not unless the cops do this.
Sir, step on out, dude. You're on camera, dude, so don't do anything dumb, okay? Hold on, I'm gonna get this on camera.
In California, they got them LA police gangs up there.
Hey, stop resisting, dude. Stop resisting. Why you? No, man. Okay. Call your supervisor. 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 Stop, dude. Call the supervisor. Call your supervisor. Call your supervisor. I'm gonna take you, dude.
Don't have about 6 officers come jump on one person.
Give me your hand. I don't give you consent to touch me. Don't reach. I don't give you consent to touch me. Don't reach. I don't give you consent. Handcuff.
Initially, Jamal showed no signs of aggression and no signs of resisting. He was just trying to open his phone to record the interaction for his own safety. Nevertheless, the cop immediately said he's being aggressive as Jamal was willingly stepping out of the car.
Step in the car, please. He's being aggressive.
This obviously frustrated Jamal, and he later admitted from then he did try and stay inside the vehicle. But the amount of force the cops used from here on was completely unwarranted. One cop even pulled a taser and threatened to use it on Jamal, despite him posing no actual threat. Jamal is then handcuffed and kept face down on the tarmac while multiple other patrol vehicles arrive at the scene. For a man guilty of nothing other than eating his lunch,
1,
that
2,
sure
3,
is a lot
4,
of cops.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Are you gonna close the door and you kick any windows out, anything like that? I don't answer questions. can leave him on then. That's fine. That's fine. Which
You're
one
gonna
do I
stand him up and get him to a car? Just leave him here until fire sees him real quick. Make it easy.
He doesn't want to walk because he doesn't want to answer questions. So we'll just leave him.
All right, cool.
Is your first name Jamal? That's who the car is.
I don't give you consent to go in my car and check my car. I don't give you consent to check my car. You're violating my Fourth Amendment constitutional right. So I think we can move forward and try at least get him in the back seat.
Yeah, that's fine. What's your name, guys?
Now, why are you guys kidnapped?
I can't talk to you until you help me out.
Tell me, why am I being kidnapped?
Well, if anything we do, we'll figure that out. I'll let you know.
Why is his feet tied?
We'll talk when he gets here.
Because he a threat.
At this point, there are over a dozen cops at the scene, and Jamal is fully restrained in both handcuffs and leg wraps. He's also already been cleared to not be the suspect, yet he's still taken to the patrol car, fully restrained, and put in the back seat. It's also important to note that the cops were able to identify and clear Jamal by running his plates, something they could have done in secret before even approaching him. The worst part is that even after all of this, Jamal still wasn't free. He was cleared of the burglary charge, but he was instead hit with a felony charge of resisting arrest and taken to jail. Jamal later filed a formal complaint with the LA Sheriff's Department. But just as another example of how corrupt this system is, they were allowed to investigate themselves. And as you'd expect, they found no evidence of any wrongdoing. Months later, Jamal filed a civil rights lawsuit against the arresting officers. Unfortunately, though, the story remains much the same. The officers were investigated by a police lieutenant, and after analyzing the body cam footage, it was concluded that Jamal's actions turned the interaction confrontational, and that the arresting officers were courteous throughout the entire event. Jamal's charges were dropped, but no charges were brought against either of the cops.
That was not no damn courtesy.
No.
Evil and racist.
Hey, man. Moral of the story is, know your rights.
Don't be black.
Don't be black. Don't be black and know your rights.
Black. Don't have black parents.
Know your rights, man.
I think it's good to watch these videos because you kind of like learn like rights too, and learn how you supposed to like deal with the police.
How you can handle, how you handle yourself in these situations, cause it can get real tricky real quick with these police, cause they use stuff against you too, like simple.
And then they gonna lie.
First, every time. People gonna lie. That's a person trait.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They gonna lie. You got anything else?
Nope.
But yeah, man, we hope y'all enjoyed this reaction, man. I'm Aaron Joshua, and this is
Evidently the one, Ito.
And we signing out. Peace.